All right, we ready? Is everybody ready? Is anybody here? Hopefully somebody's here. Episode 6, the Fox Stand live from the home of the ACC champs. ACC champions in basketball, baseball, softball, track and field. I mean, it's pretty much, what else you want us to do? I guess we could get a decent football team, couldn't we? A little shady in the football department at Virginia Tech. Season's over, no bowl game. Coach Pry talking to the press, transfer portal talk, a lot of noise in Virginia Tech. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. He's a first-year guy. You have these fans on Twitter, and they're like, he should fire the OC. He just got the job, and he hired the OC. So why would he fire the guy he just brought to the job a year ago, knowing that they had zero talent whatsoever? Fuente left the cupboard bare. So Brent Pry, Virginia Tech, they're looking to improve steadily every year. You know, I look at this thing when you get a guy like that takes over a job like this. His first job as a head coach. I think he was a DC at Penn State. He was a defensive coach at Penn State. I don't know if he's a DC. I think he was. When you take over a program that's bare like this, it's going to take a minute, right? So 3 wins this year, maybe qualify for a bowl. 5 to 6 wins next year will be a great year. The next year after that, then that's where you're starting to look for maybe 8, 9 wins, hang around in your division, maybe have a chance at the division at the end. And then that 4th year, of course, that's when you're looking to contend and hopefully win a division and get to the ACC title game. So just a little update on Virginia Tech since we're live here in Blacksburg, and I'm rocking the VT gear, along with a little tribute to the man from last night. Didn't do much last night, but they got the dub, and that's really all that matters, right? So championship weekend, we're going to recap real quick. Last week, again, the windshield's bigger than the rearview mirror for a reason, folks. Best Pie Eater, love it. Love the shirt. Thank you, Pie. Appreciate you. John, what's up to you? I can't pronounce it. Magnani. John Magnani. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for being here. Thanks for all the loyal listeners, all 5 of you. We're going to break down some college football today. It's championship weekend. This is sort of the wrap-up, right? We go through championship weekend. This is going to finalize our Final Four. And then we're going to get into bowl games. So we got one game the following week, and that's Army-Navy. I'm going to cover that here as well. So that way we're not going to do a whole show, obviously, with one game going that week, Army-Navy. Recap. So thank you, Faxman, for the shout last night. We have been on Michigan for a couple weeks now. We had them +8. We talked about it. We talked about it ad nauseum for pretty much every show. I've talked about that, where my ratings just had those 2 teams relatively equal. Ohio State had a home field. A home field in Columbus is good, but it's not worth 7 in my opinion. That's why I took the 7 there. We did get it done. We also covered the Oregon State game on our last show, and I think our last show was Tuesday because we did a Thanksgiving deal with Fax and JJ on Thursday. I did talk about the Oregon game, Corvallis. Weather wasn't bad, but it's a tough place to play, and I don't know how they get so loud in that joint, but they do. And it's under construction, I think, if I remember correctly. But so we got it done there. We threw out some teaser plays. I think I gave out 8 teams total. Dropped a couple of those teaser games. I think 1 in each. So it just depends on how you blended them up. But all in all, we had a very good weekend across the board. So not dissatisfied at all with how things went. Right now, we're sitting on a Michigan 8-1 ticket for those of you that bought. I did have a couple of people message me. They did buy that 8-1. Told you could get them at 10-1 going into the Ohio State game. And now they're at anywhere between, I've seen them 175 to 300, I think. About a 250, like we were thinking, about a $250 dog to win the Natty now. So you're sitting on a ton of value at 8-1. We also have a pending Clemson at -6.5. That game has been steady at 7.5. We're going to cover that game in our breakdown this week. I think it's going to probably settle at 7. I see that game on a 7. Both teams dropped massive eggs last week. So, but I'm still happy to get the Clemson 6.5, and I'll explain why. We're going to give you 3 plays. One of them is going to be on the Service Academy game. We've got a couple sides in championship weekend. I'll give opinions on games I have opinions on, but honestly, if I don't have an opinion, I'm not going to shove something down your throat. It's just, that's not what I do. This is free. If I bet it, again, anybody wants to know my card or where I stand on any game at Greyfox Twitter, I'm happy to help. Happy to share my numbers, what my numbers are on the games. And it's interesting. There's some interesting ones. So without further ado, let's get it kicked off. This is a makeup game postponed from 11/19, November 19th, and it is Akron at Buffalo. Akron at Buffalo. I'm showing a current, and I looked them up pre-show. You may see some difference, but I'm looking at I looked them up on DraftKings in Virginia. Buffalo 11.55.5. This game just doesn't have much appeal to me, to be honest with you. Looking at my ratings, it's just neither team is very good. It's 5 and 6, and I think they're just neither team is very good. My ratings show the line to be maybe a line's a little high. I don't have an opinion on this game. Buffalo was really good to me. Lost to Holy Cross, if I remember correctly, opening week. Have a good friend that's an alumni, actually still holds a couple tackling records at Holy Cross as a middle linebacker. And he's like, Buffalo is tremendously athletic. And I want to say they dropped their second game too. And then they went on a nice little run. They've been stumbling a little of late. And that's kind of why I'm off this game. Akron's not a very good football team. Buffalo, in my ratings, neither one of them is, they're both subpar, and their records reflect that, right? So for me, it's a stay away game. I'm going to say this game opened at 13.5 and is down to 11. I do have a 13.5 written. I would have been looking at openers when I did that. I just think the number's too high, but I'm going to stick to the old adage of, don't bet a bad team and expect it to do something that it hasn't done, and that's be a good team. So that's just a stay away. It is not a conference championship game. Again, it's a makeup game from November 19th. So Akron, Buffalo, 11.55.5. It's a pass for me. It's a hard pass. We're going to go to North Texas and UTSA, University of Texas at San Antonio. This game will be played in San Antonio. Current number I see is UTSA 9 with a total of 68. So some of these games are rematches, right? And then I'll cover the ones that, that are rematches of what the previous matchup did. On October 22nd, same venue. This is where UTSA plays their home games. UTSA beat North Texas 31-27. So I saw this line open at 9.5. I did buy a little 9.5 on North Texas. I think it's a value play, right? It's just a value play. Again, looking at my ratings here, this line. So this is another interesting one, right? UTSA playing in their home field, but ticket distribution is not going to work the same for a conference title game as it's going to work for a October 22nd or whatever it was game. Yeah, North Texas at UTSA, right? North Texas is going to get a smaller allotment in a regular season game than they're going to get in the conference championship. So I don't expect it to be a big home field. Yes, it is UTSA's home field. They know the track, yada, yada, the locker room, comfort, the whole bit, but sleep in your own bed, whatever adages you want to throw in there. I just thought 9.5 was a little too much. I knew it. In my mind, it was no way it went to 10 because I think the big money would have come in hard on North Texas at 10. So they lost 31-27, same venue, October 22nd. The biggest thing that stands out to me is UTSA rushed for 257 rushing yards in that game, and they ran almost 100 plays, which tends to happen when you run the ball, right? You're not ripping off, unless you're ripping off huge carries, but you run the ball for 257 yards, you're going to add up plays. You're going to keep the other team's defense on the field. So why doesn't that alarm me so much, right? I want to say North Texas quarterback had a pretty good game that day. I want to say he threw for over 300 against them. So he was definitely seeing their secondary well. When a team runs for 257 against you, that's a pride stealer, right? It's a kick between the legs. It's just a beatdown. So it's a physical beatdown. Teams take it personal. Coaching staffs take it personal. But it's also, you like to think you should be able to scheme against a running attack that piled up 257 on you in the previous matchup. Quarterback for UTSA didn't have a huge day that day. It was really more about their multiple-headed running backs just massing up yards on North Texas. So my thought is North Texas makes some adjustments there. The home field advantage probably not as big as it would be in a normal regular season game. So I did make a small play on North Texas plus the 9.5 in that game again in San Antonio. Let's go to Utah, USC, a little pack. This game really cool to me is being played in Vegas. I mean, I think that's awesome, right? I guess I don't know why, but I just think it's awesome that they have that venue. They're not just hosting the Sam's Town, pre-New Year's Bowl in Vegas anymore. They've got a big-time stadium. Utah, USC, this game should be – Vegas should just be slammed with fans for this one from Utah and obviously USC driving distance deal. Current number I saw was 3-67. Utah beat USC 43-42, and I believe that game was at Utah. So 3-point dog, neutral site, already beat USC. The defense lends itself a little bit, I think, to Utah in this game. And I don't have an opinion. I did not play this game. Not a big West Coast guy as far as playing West Coast games. It's just it's a style of the game. I can't sometimes wrap my head around it. Defense isn't often seen either, and I tend to side with good defenses. But so a small lean here. Obviously, Utah got them once, 43-42. I just think it's a sharp number. It should be a game that comes down to the last possession. Slight edge for Utah and D, but again, the numbers are showing this game is pretty much a coin flip game. Slight lean to Utah, but no official position there, and I did not play the game. Let's see here. Let's go on to the Big 12 championship, Arlington, Texas, Kansas State, TCU natty title, Final Four hopes on the line. Looks like, let me see here. These two teams did match up. 38-28 TCU. My head's telling me that game was in TCU. But they beat them by 10 in their earlier matchup this year. So, again, you get the neutral site here, Arlington, Texas. I don't think I draw a huge map of the state of Texas, but I'm pretty sure Texas Christian is closer to Arlington than Kansas State. But Kansas State travels pretty well. The purple people eater gang there, they travel pretty well. So, I expect it to be maybe a slight – I mean, and someone attending that game who's not a fan of either team is obviously going to be wanting to see TCU win the game and get a shot at a Final Four. Just to note, there's 3 teams in my ratings that are far and above. I'm trying to pull them out here now, that are far and above, quite frankly, anybody else. I mean, Georgia, Ohio State, and Michigan are still my 3 highest rated teams. Okay. And again, you see defense on all three of those teams. But if TCU were to get in here, I have them. They would be significant. They would be half the rating of any of those 3 teams. So it's a sweet story to get TCU in. Their defense, unfortunately, I don't think can hold. Their magic might hold, and that's where turnovers, some good things happening to them, short fields. TCU's just been that this year, so don't really want to tangle with magic, so to speak. There, again, they beat them prior. In the prior matchup, TCU was +2 in the turnover margin. Right, we just talked about that. So +2, and they were plus 105 yards in that game. TCU was over Kansas State, which again you could attribute that to the turnovers, getting them a couple extra cracks at them. But again, no big play for me here. No official. I didn't play it officially. My lean would be with TCU in this game. The total at 62 is honestly tempting, just because I just don't see a whole lot of defense being played in this game. I'm just going to check my ratings real quick to give you a final take on if there's a total play here. But Kansas State actually has the better defense. TCU is just, they're giving up 4 bills a game. But to me, it's a no play. If I did have to play it, I would have to side with TCU. It's just they beat them once. It's a short number. It's in Arlington. You gotta. This coach has got to have them ready to play that game. Kansas State's going to want to pull the upset special, right? Knock them out. So that's why it's not. I didn't play it myself. Lean to TCU in that game. It looks like the Maction, Detroit, playing in Detroit, Michigan, Toledo, and Ohio. Toledo 2-55. First matchup, let's see. It's the first matchup. They haven't played each other this year. Toledo's 2-3 in their last 5 straight up, and Ohio's last loss was October 1st. You can ask the facts man about that. I wouldn't get in the way of a streak. Toledo's not exactly been cracking it to them. They're 2-3 in their last 5. So I'm just checking a couple numbers here real quick. But Ohio's a hot team. That's all there is. That's all there is to say about that. Toledo sits pretty high in my ratings, but again, another pass for me. Not going to put money where you got another type of game here. I don't have any math advantage on it. Let's see, just double checking a couple things here. The numbers sort of favor Toledo here, but again, 2-3 in their last 5. So numbers are great, but you got to hang dubs. If Toledo was 5-0 in their last 5 entering this game, I would have bet Toledo certainly under a field goal. So just that 2-3 in their last 5 straight up, and Ohio having won their last loss being October 1st. Not going to get in the way of that. No official play there. Lean. I mean, I'm not even going to lean because it's just nothing I got here. The numbers are one way. The way the teams are playing is another. Again, don't force a play if you don't have to. That's not what we're doing here. We're trying to get good numbers. We're trying to buy plus EV. We're trying to get good numbers going here. Alan, what's up? Let's do this, Alan. I love it. Coastal and Troy. That would look to be got some Sunbelt action there, maybe. Little Sunbelt championship, and that game is being played in Troy, Alabama. Troy current is 8.5 and 48.5. Troy Coastal. Let's see. First matchup for them this year. Here's the thing about Troy. I mean, this is kind of, I mean, their 2 losses this year, Troy, are at Ole Miss and at Appalachian State. Now, some people might be like, well, App State, I mean, it's a conference game, blah, blah, blah. If you've ever been to Boone and you've ever seen a game in App State, it's at elevation. Troy, Alabama is not at elevation. It's like sea level, negative sea level. So big home field advantage. One of the bigger ones in college football, believe it or not, is App State. It's a great place to see a game and a really tough place to win a game on the road. So those are 2, in my opinion, 2 quality losses. 2 losses on the part of Coastal go to 2 conference foes, JMU and ODU. Apparently, Coastal does not like the Commonwealth, as their 2 losses are both to Virginia teams. Again, not two of my better. I mean, Liberty, JMU, Liberty, ODU are all better than UVA and Virginia Tech right now. So are those bad losses? No, by no means. So this game didn't really see a whole lot. The only thing I'm seeing here is I think it was Coastal. They canceled on 11, or they didn't cancel. The game was canceled because of what happened at UVA on 11. Their last game was played on 11/26. So that was scheduled for them. So they're going to be a couple weeks. They sort of got a bye week, right? They got a bye week the week of the Virginia game. So they haven't been, they had a little stall in the schedule for reasons that nobody really, wants to talk about on this show. That's for sure. I just, Troy has a numbers advantage here, but it's about where I have the number for a Troy game being played in Troy. So, I'm sorry, I'm not hitting you with a whole bunch of excitement here. I'm only giving out one of my plays, but I've only played one, so I'm not going to lie to you. Coastal Troy to me is a pass at 8.5, 48.5. I don't see much line movement there either. Let's see here. LSU and Georgia in the SEC title game. Hotlanta will be the venue there, as always, for your SEC title game. Right now I'm seeing Georgia 17.5 and 51. First matchup for these 2 teams this year. Listen, I mean, Georgia could beat anybody by 30. It is what it is. My ratings show the number to be virtually dead on. I mean, to what I have it at 16 would be my number for the game. It's sitting at 17.5. If I were to play this game, I would play LSU because 17.5 is just too big of a number. I know all the. I mean, I know all the data, and like I said, my ratings call for Georgia to win by about 17 points. 17.5 is just such a big number for a backdoor in a conference title game. When you're the 1 seed, the 1 overall seed. I mean, if Georgia's up 24 at the start of the 4th quarter, I mean, how many guys are they going to leave in this game? I mean, really, you're going to leave guys in up 24 in the SEC title when you got Natty Height and your number 1 seed in the Natty. So to me, 17.5 is too big number. No official play for me there. If I were to bet the game, I would definitely bet the LSU at plus 17.5 current. Now we're going to get to one that I do have an opinion on, and I've bantered with a number of people that I respect on this one, and I got nothing. I've dug and I can't come up with a reason for this number, but UCF Tulane being played in New Orleans. Tulane is 3, current is 3, and total is 57. So I've dug two different sites. I use a couple different sites for my injury information. I've got nothing of consequence for UCF in this game. Last time they played, UCF beat them 38-31 at Tulane. I just don't. My number for this game, I don't even want to say what it is because it's actually flip flop. On a neutral, I would have UCF at 3, not Tulane at 3. I've grounded on it. Maybe I'm missing something. If anybody out there knows anything, chime in. Tell me I'm an idiot. But I played UCF at plus 3. That will be an official play as well. I'll go over. I'll give the official plays again at the end, but UCF will be at +3, will be an official play. I don't see what I'm missing, and it actually got steamed up. It opened at 2 or 2.5. Let's see. I have it here. It opened at. I didn't get 2. It opened at 2.5. I didn't get it from jump. I don't get it. As far as I heard, and I could be wrong. UCF coach, I don't know if it's going. Again, if anybody knows I'm wrong on a piece of news information, hit me with it. But Tulane, their coach Willie Fritz, I think his name is. He's going. I heard he's going to Georgia Tech. So he took the job at Georgia Tech. He's not going to be coaching them in a bowl, and he's going to leave his staff, obviously some of his staff behind that he's going to be taking with him to Georgia Tech to coach. Their minds are obviously on moving families, moving kids out of schools. The turbulent life that is a college assistant, right? So I don't know what I'm missing here. No clue. But I really like UCF plus the 3 in their conference championship game in New Orleans against Tulane. So that will be an official play. UCF plus 3. Moving on, we're at the 20-minute mark. I got to be done at 30 because I got to take Greyfox Jr. to his first basketball practice tonight. So we're going to try to wrap this up around 6:30. So anyways, let's see here. UCF, we covered that. Fresno, Boise. Boise is 3-54 in a conference championship being played in Boise. So another one, it's kind of weird, right? They played in Boise earlier in the year. Boise beat them 40-20. The number's 3. Boise, I looked at the injury report. Boise has a couple of wide receivers questionable. So I looked. One of them was like a 1 reception a game guy. The other one was I think he was 2.5 reception per game average, but he averaged like 35 a catch. So both questionable. But this again, we'll run back to back with my official plays. It's going to come down to defense for me. Obviously, you get the home field. It's a conference championship home field. So again, you look for ticket sales to be a little more evenly distributed. How many people want to leave Fresno to go to Boise this time of year, though? I mean, you got to be a big fan to do that. I played Boise minus the 3, and it comes down to Boise's defense, okay? It's about 65 yards per game better than Fresno. So you get the home field, you get the better defense, and you get a team that already beat the other team by 20 points this year. Like I said, I'm probably missing something, Maybe UCF did. Maybe Boise's bus will break down the way. I don't know. These 2 games, my numbers did not jibe with the odds maker. I would have Boise more in the 5 to 6 range at home in this game, even considering a semi-neutral, not quite a full home, right? So there's 2 official plays. I'll go over them again at the end. UCF plus the 3, Boise minus the 3 in their conference championship games. And I've given all the reasons I've got for you. So let's move on to the big. That's going to be Purdue and Michigan. That game's being played in Indianapolis, in the Dome. And Purdue, Michigan 16.5, 51.5. So again, Michigan you don't want to say it's a letdown spot. It's a conference championship game, right? You don't let down for those. But that number is big. Again, the back door swings wide. Michigan knows that if they win, they have the 2 seed wrapped up. That's huge, as we talked about with our 8-1 future play. They won't face Georgia in round 1, and I believe they should hammer anybody else they play, quite frankly, if they're healthy, in their first round game. So they just need to get the win here. I didn't make any play. I looked at the under 51.5, but I only gave it a look because they're playing in a dome, like fast track. So what are they calling for here? What, like 34-17 type of score? So can Purdue score 17? That's what you got to ask yourself. If Purdue doesn't score 17, there's no way this game. I don't see this game going over, just because I don't see Harbaugh putting the pedal down at this point in the season. So, but Purdue can score. Purdue put up 31 versus a good Illinois defense and 35 versus a decent Penn State defense. So, that's why I kind of backed off that. It's just, if they get them down and Purdue's one-dimensional, I just think this game could just go sleepy time. 32-0, 35-0, 40-10. That would still be under. But no official play from me. I looked at the under, but there's too many secondary factors kind of pushing me off that. So let's move on to the last one. Charlotte, North Carolina, Clemson, and UNC in the ACC title game. Current number, as I said earlier, Clemson 7, total 63.5. And you'll notice a theme with me especially when it comes down to these bigger games, right? Defense. I know I'm in my 50s, and everybody's like, "You're old school. It's not defense anymore. It's all about the offense." I hear you. I mean, it is. You got to score to win. I've never seen a football team win a game with 0 points, not in my 50 plus years. So, but I'm a defense guy, and when I broke this game down, listen, both these teams laid a massive egg last week. All right, the Clemson quarterback was like 5 for 40 or something. I mean, whatever it was, you can look it up, but it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. UNC loses to NC State. I think they lost to Louisville the week before. So both teams obviously, they knew they were in the game. They knew, Clemson still had an outside shot at a getting in the playoff. I was really surprised to see Clemson drop that one to South Carolina. Not a big Shane Beamer fan either. I don't know if you guys remember when he was an assistant for his dad at Virginia Tech, he found a playbook of I can't remember the team. It was Georgia Tech, Wake, somebody like that. Found the playbook. The right thing to do is walk over to the other locker room, walk over to one of the other coaches. Look, we found this. I haven't looked at it. I don't want to see it here. No, Shano keeps it, and he schemes it. He game plans off of it. And the game went end of regulation in a 0-0 tie. So at that point, I'm like, he couldn't even beat a team with their playbook. It's what good teams say to bad teams, right? We could give you our playbook, and it doesn't matter. Well, he got their playbook, and it didn't matter. Never been a Shane Beamer fan. Nice guy, great black, grew up here. Nothing against him personally, except for he cheated in that game, and that is what it is. I'm not going to get on a soapbox here, anyways. Defense is what it comes down to for me. Clemson allows 323 yards a game. UNC is getting popped for 452. Could be just the tonic that the Clemson offense especially needs to get their ACC title and get things rolling back again for them. So we've got them. Those of you that rode me at the -6.5 on the opener, we've got them at -6.5. I wouldn't run away from a 7. All I've got is a win over a tie at 7. It's not a lose number for you, but so if you're just jumping into the water now, Clemson at 7 is not a bad look. I'm in at 6.5. I'm not going to make any additional plays on the game. It's just, to me, it's going to come down to the Clemson defense and a Clemson team that plays this game like virtually every year for the last decade. I mean, they didn't, Pitt won it last year. Clemson's back in it this year. They just live in the ACC title games. Nice that UNC's in it. Again, Mac Brown, great guy, good, really good coach, but there's no way you're going to tell me that Clemson doesn't have the coaching advantage, the defensive advantage, and probably the overall athletes. If you rostered it out, the overall athletes are going to be on Clemson's side. So that is an official play because it's already out there. We played it 2 weeks ago on a look ahead at 6.5. Last game we're going to talk about is the following week. It's the only game scheduled for the week. If you call yourself a college football fan, I'd ask you to, I'd encourage you greatly to watch this game. It's one of my favorite football games. My sister, one of the first women to attend the Naval Academy, used to go to that game as a young boy in Philly. I want to say it was at JFK one year, but I could be wrong. It was either JFK or the Vet. But the place was just packed. The atmosphere is amazing. Watching them march in, watching the cadets and the midshipmen march in. I mean, it's just watching them stand in respect when the other alma maters play. And a lot of people don't watch this game because they're like, it's boring. It's boring. They just run the ball. It's boring. Well, that's sort of a product of what these two teams are, right? These guys are going to fight for our freedom. They're not going to have the big studs that allow you to do a lot of things on offense, particularly pass protect, throw the ball, that kind of thing. So you're going to get a running game. You're going to get you're going to get the mirror of each other, right? I have a simple rule: when military academy plays military academy, I hate to say it because it's the worst term in the industry. It's a blind bet. For me, it's a blind bet. Under the opening number. Under the opening number. I don't care about the weather. I don't care about anything. The numbers, I've seen the stat on it. It's the game's just 10. Total's 34. Army's 1.5, total 34. That's a low total. I get it. It's a low total. Game's being played in Philadelphia. And I know there's some cold weather coming west to east at some point, and it's going to be played in 2 weeks from now. So I certainly don't look for a balmy day in Philly that day. And if it's really cold in Philly, that 34, this could drop to 32 at game time as a total. If it goes up, I'll probably play a little more of it, to be honest, if it goes up above 34. But that also is an official play. So to wrap up, that's every game scheduled between now and two Saturdays from now. Okay, and that starts conference championships start this Friday. So that'll be Friday, Saturday, the following Saturday. Then we're going to have the break, and the bowls will start the 16th, I want to say. We're trying to piece together a bowl show. When we get the details on that, whether it's JJ Fax, me, JJ Fax, whoever it's going to be, we'll do some sort of bowl deal. Hopefully a contest. That's what I like to do. So so I can get thrashed by the legends. Anyways, let's go over our official plays again real quick. UCF +3 playing Tulane and New Orleans in their conference championship, and Boise -3 playing Fresno in Boise for their conference championship. And then a 2-week look ahead is under 34 Army-Navy in Philly. So that covers every college football game. The next we are gonna have a show Thursday, just to be clear. And what we'll do is we'll track some numbers. Some other things maybe some lines move in a direction that make me want to play, or make you want to play a game. And if that's the case, we are going to go over them. So we're definitely doing Tuesday, Thursday this week. Next week, I don't see much going on because I've already given up the one game that's being played under 34 Army-Navy. So that being the case, we're going to wrap it up. We are coming to you Thursday. The Fox Den will be back for episode 7. This was episode 6. I still don't have any Run Pure. Until I do, then it'll be season 1. College basketball is in the works. I'm working some stuff now. I'm finishing up my handicapping. I'm like JJ. I kind of start when I get into conference play at the end of December. That's sort of when bowl games are getting out of the way and we can get our attention dialed in properly to basketball. And they're, people, when you bet early season, you're betting such random games, right? And there's so many teams. Excuse me. It's just, for me, it's too much. Once they get into conference play, I'll be looking at some SEC. I'll be looking at some Big Ten. And I look to, making a couple plays here and there now, but nothing really. I'm just kind of working my numbers. I don't do an algorithm, don't do a computer for that. Why would you do one? Ken Palm does one, Sagarin does one. How are you going to rate things better? Alan Boston's probably the only guy that could rate them better than Ken Palm. So that's going to do it for this week. Coming up Wednesday, tomorrow, Fax Man, Whip It Out Wednesday. Don't miss it. Oh, thank Josh CT. Thank you, man. Always service team unders. Cheers to that. Appreciate that, Josh CT. Fax Man, Whip It Out Wednesday. You definitely don't want to miss that. He's just fire. He's giving you winner after winner. The guy's on fire. I appreciate his props on the Michigan. I hope that Michigan gets it done for him. At least gets to the final. That way we've got 8-1, and we can. But like me and Fax will both tell you, hedges are for gardeners. Why did I bet Michigan at 8-1? Because I thought that was value and they could win. I'm gonna buy the other side. Well, we'll see. Me and Fax will chat about that. Fax Man, Whip It Out Wednesday. Don't miss it. I'll be back with you on Thursday from Blacksburg, Virginia. We appreciate everybody that tuned in tonight. For the millions of viewers, loyal listeners, I'm off to take Junior to basketball practice. And remember, if you can't be with the one you love the one you're with.